My dad used to take me to this big house that was full of scary looking people in masks at least twice a month and give me a drink that clearly had something in it to make me sleepy slash compliant. What? Good morning, my covens. Sick and tired here. And today we are going to be reading some more viewer submissions from your guys' unhinged parents. Hey, I just started watching your channel the other day. There are a lot of stories about the trauma while it's happening. So I wanted to tell you about my recovery as a message of hope for everyone who's dealing with family trauma. My mother's mother grew up being violently and sexually abused by her parents and 6 brothers. She passed down a lot of that trauma to my mom, and my mom passed it down to me. My mother and father were both incredibly emotionally immature, basically had no business having kids. My mother has almost zero sexual and emotional boundaries with me and my brother. And my father has been divorced 5 times and has no relationship with any of his 4 adult children. 5 times? I was an alcoholic from the time I was 15 until I was 25. I was as drunk as I could be as often as possible, so I wouldn't have to deal with my painful emotions. When I was 16, I was having panic attacks at least like once a week, like full body sobbing and retching panic attacks. I graduated from college by the skin of my teeth. I couldn't hold down a job. I had briefly lived with my maternal grandparents, but they rejected me for being queer, and I only spoke to them one more time before my grandma died. I stopped drinking at 25 and my life began to fall apart. I tried to live with my father after I got evicted. He kicked me out at 3 a.m. and a friend had to bring me back to the city. I had a period of time where I was very nearly homeless, never stayed at an address for more than a year. I can certainly relate to the panic attacks. I feel like I have a really bad one at least once a month, but I have like smaller ones that aren't as bad, maybe like once every 2 weeks. Do you think, I want to ask you guys that suffer from panic attacks who are drinkers, do you think that there is a connection between drinking and panic attacks? Because sometimes I feel like my worst panic attacks are the day after I've drank too much. I'm just wondering if there's a connection there. Then I met my partner. We lived together for 4 years. It was dysfunctional, but they're a good person who's dealing with their own stuff, and they were there for me when it really counted. That stability combined with sobriety and some intense therapy completely changed my life. I stopped having panic attacks. I wish I knew what that was like. I had a series of shitty restaurant jobs until I landed my current job, a cushy office gig that pays a living wage. I now live in my own place that I just rented in July of 2024. I live with my dog and we have a yard where I'm planning to start a garden in the spring. My partner and I are still in a relationship even though we live separately and we're comfortably non-monogamous. Monogamous. I always have trouble saying that word. Monogamous, right? Monogamous. I started taking testosterone consistently about 2 years ago, and my transition is going well. I'll have 7 years of sobriety at the end of January. That is amazing. I guess basically what I want to get across is that things can and do get better. I haven't spoken to my mother in 10 years. She doesn't know where I live. My father doesn't know where I live. My younger brother is safe and happy after a long struggle with schizophrenia and homelessness, and we see each other often. I turned 32 in a week or so, and I'm finally okay, especially after starting Prozac recently. I will swear by sobriety, somatic experiencing therapy, and journaling for anyone who is looking for their path forward. What is somatic experiencing therapy? Ooh, I'm gonna have to look into what that is. Anyway, I appreciate your channel, and if you could share my message with people so they can find hope, that would be really cool. Of course I will share it. And I'm very happy for you. Congratulations on all of the good, and you are right. It can get better, even when you're stuck in that hopeless place where you feel like you're feeling your way around in the dark. Everything's black. You don't know what you're doing. There is a light somewhere, I promise, and it can get better and you can go on to do really good things. And here's proof right here. Hi, Sam, sick and tired. I have several stories starting from my birth mom committing suicide when I was 4. She did it due to her suffering with mental health and finding out about my dad's affair. She committed suicide in September, and the December of that same year, my dad was forcing me to call the woman he'd been cheating on my mom with mom.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck?
Your poor mom. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That's devastating. And your dad forcing you to call the woman that he was cheating with mom after what happened to your mother. That's a special kind of fucked up. My dad used to take me to this big house that was full of scary looking people in masks at least twice a month and give me a drink that clearly had something in it to make me sleepy slash compliant. What in the eyes wide shut is going on? The next day, I would remember nothing but be very sore and have bruises. There's a lot more to all this, but I'll not go into it now as I don't want this email to be too long. Wait a minute. Wait, whoa. What do you mean? What do you mean? This is a very alarming. What? Your dad would take you to a big house with people in masks. This is literally eyes wide shut. Some weird ass cult stuff going on. Oh, wow. When I turned 16, I moved in with my boyfriend who was 22, and for the first few months, everything was great. But then he started being verbally and physically abusive. I was dumb and stayed and ended up having a child with him when I was 18. When our son was 2, I decided I couldn't stay as I didn't want my son seeing all that as normal, and I reached out to family for help, but my dad's response was,
"No, you made your bed, you will lie in it."
I got away thanks to friends. I stopped contact with my dad and his side of the family when I was around 28, but my dad still continues making fake social media accounts and trying to contact my children. I don't have social media due to this behavior as I have severe mental health issues, probably due to how I was raised, but I plod along and stay positive for my children. There's obviously a lot more, but didn't want to bombard you too much. Hope you are well. Thanks for listening. I am begging you for an update. I am begging you to know the whole story. Trust me, there is no story that's too long for this channel. I feel like we need to hear more about this. This is one of the craziest things I've ever read here. And your dad has the nerve to want to have contact with you? Wow. Holy shit. Please write in and tell us this whole story. Before I begin, I would like to clarify that this happened to my friend who wishes to stay anonymous, so I will not be giving her name. Today, my friend texted me in a panic. She lives in a different state than me, but we try to help each other whenever possible because we are close and often each other's only source of comfort. She texted me and told me something that made me very upset, and I tried to console her, but I didn't know how from so far away. For context, she has bad acid reflux and it sent her to the hospital not long ago. She has to take medication prescribed by her doctor now that's super strong. Because of this, she can't have spicy food of any kind. Ooh, I also have very severe acid reflux. My throat would actually hurt when I would, it would feel like somebody was grabbing it and squeezing it. So I'm on a medication called pantoprazole now that I have to take for the rest of my life. I know how painful and awful this is. It's excruciating pain. I mean, if you ever had heartburn, you know how terrible it is. But I mean, just imagine it times 10. Feels like there's lava trying to come out. What she told me was her parents wanted to go out to eat, and she asked if it could be any place that doesn't only have Mexican food because she wouldn't be able to eat anything. They told her they were going to a Mexican restaurant and she was being a baby. She calmly tried to explain that she wouldn't be able to eat anything, and the doctors told her and them that she couldn't have spicy stuff. Her mom told her she could just eat the Mexican food since she has medication now, and when she tried to tell her mother that's not how it works, her mom told her she was being grouchy and to stop. Then her father got in her face and screamed at her, all because she can't eat the food they want to eat. She got very scared and pushed him away while her mother just watched. You can't just pick a different restaurant? And I love the sentence. I don't love it. I'm being facetious. Her mother just watched. Raise your hand if you've been in that situation. After that is when she texted me. I tried my best to calm her down and told her to breathe. She was crying harder than I've ever seen from her. She then told me they said she can just sit there with no food at all and watch them eat, and she can get something after when they're ready to leave. That is so mean. This poor girl. I told her I was so sorry they were acting so childish over Mexican food. Yeah, this isn't the first time she's had to deal with them acting like that. I feel guilty because she comes to me a lot when it happens, and even though I've been through similar experiences with my parents, I don't know how to help her in her situation. I went no contact with mine, but she can't do that right now because she still lives with them while she's going to college. I feel so bad for her and just want to give her peace of mind. If there's any advice you have for us, please let me know. We both watch your videos, and I thought maybe if you could give her any advice at all, it would help. Thank you for your time, and sorry for the typos. I'm not very good at spelling. If I was her, and this is something that happens often, and it's not just a one-time thing where your parents just flipped out for no reason. If I was still living with my parents, had to because of college, I would just gray rock, just to put her head down, focus on her studies, and just give your parents the bare minimum. if she wants to. This is just my advice. I'm not saying she should do this, but if she feels this is what she wants to do, just say, nope, I got to study. I got to do my own thing. Maybe if she has any friends out there, start making plans with your friends instead. Go out to dinner with them. Hopefully they would be more understanding than your parents. Hi, Samantha. Well, hi, back. I've been watching you for a long time now, and I figured I'd share some of my experiences. Growing up, I was always a scapegoat. My mother held it over my head that she was pressured by my dad's family to get an abortion, but she just couldn't do it. That she loved me too much already to get rid of me. I was a drunken mistake she made in college. She blamed and continues to blame her entire life on me. She didn't graduate college and couldn't follow her dreams because I got in her way. It's not your fault. She married my stepdad when I was 2 and went to court to get my last name changed to his, so I never knew about my real dad. Him being in my life didn't make it any easier. If she wasn't berating me, he was. If she didn't hit me, he was. An example was we lived on an army base and I went to go visit a friend up the road. They had to leave because the mom had errands to run and I said I was going to wait for them. It was a bad day at the house, so I didn't want to be there. I hung out for 90-ish minutes before finally heading back to the house. My mom screamed at me until my stepdad got home and he made me go to my room. About 10 minutes later, he came into my room with a spatula and broke it over my butt. I was around 6 or 7 at the time. When I was 11-ish, my sister and I were playing around and she got hurt. She went running to my parents and my stepdad forced soap in my mouth and made me swallow it. Ew. I got sick in the kitchen sink and had my birthday taken away. The beatings never stopped. That's abuse in my book. Putting soap in a kid's mouth until they throw up, making them swallow it. I do think that's abuse. I just do. And not to mention the beatings as well. I was assaulted by my stepdad's mother's boyfriend when I was 9 and didn't have the nerve to tell anyone till my mom got me drunk at a bar when I was 18 and I spilled it to her. She believed me at the time, but now blows it off as something arbitrary. I was going to say when you were 9, 18. Oh, okay. I guess that's not as bad. When I was 16, my mom and stepdad got into a belligerent drunken fight and she busted into my room and told me to go spread my legs for everyone like the little slut I was. What the fuck? I was still a virgin at the time. There's a lot more from that when I was younger. I had her arrested a few days before Christmas. Her and her then boyfriend got into an argument because she got caught flirting with a guy at a bar we were at. All 3 went to go hang out. She ended up screaming and yelling, so I carried her to the car to calm her down. She started yelling about how she was going to walk out in traffic and shoot herself when she got home. She ended up getting away from me, so I followed her and pulled the car up onto the sidewalk. She then initiated a fist fight with me while I was trying to get her in the car. Your mom was wanting to fist fight you? Like engage in fisticuffs. Oh my gosh. She smacked her hand on the door and her vape went flying into the car. She started screaming, my vape, my vape. You broke my vape. That's what you're worried about right now? I said, is your vape more important than your own daughter? She said it was, and my heart broke. She then proceeded to bite me in the bicep and leave a very large bruise with a full set of teeth marks. I boxed her in the back to get her off, and she dropped. I put her in a headlock and yelled at all the people driving slowly past to call the cops. I can't believe what I'm reading. This is insane. She tried to run from them and got hogtied in the back of the cruiser. I'm sorry. It's not funny, but it is. It's insane. She got hogtied in the back of the cruiser. I'm just imagining your mom. Like she's like folded like this in half. She was supposed to get back-racked. I don't know what that means, but talked her way into getting thrown into the drunk tank for the night instead. I stayed up all night waiting for her to get home for the fight to continue. I fell asleep after sunrise and woke up to major tension in the house that you could cut with a knife. I have many other stories if you want, but that's all I wanted to share for now. Wow. Well, thank you for sharing. Of course, we'd love to hear more. You didn't say if you were no contact at all, so I'm curious, do you still have contact with your mom? Yeah, update us, let us know, and share more stories with us. That is all that I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. And if you would like to hear more submissions from our viewers, I will put the playlist up on the screen. I hope that you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. I hope that your magic is strong. I hope your symptoms are low. I love you guys. Bye.